So you had this shop interview, and what happened?
Yes. So I was watching the pilgrims going up and down the mountain while I'm on the phone with a panel of interviewers. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but they asked me some questions about my faith. And I remember just being very simple and straightforward about it. And they were very interested. And then the interview ended, and I thought, I think watching those pilgrims going up and down the hill has something to do with my life, and I bet I'm not getting this job, and I'm done with any more NGO or secular jobs. I think it's over. And I was right. They chose someone else, and I never had a normal secular job again. It was the end. So.
It was a conversion again, like a job conversion, you could say, no?
Yeah, it was just, my life was changing.
Yes.
Things were going to go, and I had already, there was a priest I met a few years later in Geneva, and he said, you kissed your normal life goodbye the day you went to Rwanda. And
I'm convinced.
he said, you're like a Mother Teresa, you have to go wherever the Lord tells you, and it's not going to be normal. And he said, there's no picket fence for you.
And so Our Lady brought again you here in Medjugorje closer to what was your mission, right? So finished the secular jobs.
Yeah, that was over. It was a big change, yeah. So I was in a very secular master's program still for another year and a half, but I wouldn't be working for those organizations.
And what happened then? So the job
So yeah, and so then I kept staying and waiting, and then finally after a few weeks, some things finally happened so that I could begin my research in Bosnia. And it was beautiful because I received the notice by email, and then that night the sisters and I went to adoration outside. And I suddenly, before the monstrance even came out, we were just waiting at the beginning, but we were right at the front rail, and I suddenly had this deep word from the Lord, and he said, go to Sarajevo right away. I'm taking you deeply into this country. And I was delighted. I felt so joyful. And so I turned to Madre Elvira, who's now in Rome, and we're still in touch. And I said, I'm going to Sarajevo in 2 days. And she goes, okay. Because we'd all been waiting. What's Christine going to do? And they had a hard time knowing what was going on unless somebody came and could translate once in a while. But they were just patiently waiting, and patient with God and with me while I was waiting to know. And so off I went to Sarajevo. But the interesting thing happened that really cemented my relationship with Mary. I left and got on the bus, and I went to Mostar and was going to continue on to Sarajevo. And I received a text message from Oazi, and they said, Ave Maria, you left your passport behind. Come back. You can sleep here tonight. Okay, so I turn around, next bus, back to Oazi, and I had this feeling. I was like, Mary did this. Mary wants to say something. Okay. So I'm watching, and everybody's going, what's Mary going to say to you? Something's going on. And they said, even the way we found your passport was very, very divine. We weren't looking for it, and it just happened by a strange way. So be praying. And I said, okay. Next morning, I went back to Podbrdo like I did every morning that entire month. I go up on the hill, and I pray on my favorite rock. I have my rock even to now. And everything's nice. Thank you, Mary. Glad to be back. Glad to go. And I start walking down the hill, and all of a sudden I heard her voice clear as a bell. She said, you forgot to say goodbye to me. I was like, what? What do you mean? I'm here saying goodbye. What is this? It was very surprising. And I whirled around because I could hear the voice outside of my body. Whirled around, and that statue was eyeballing me. Wow. And I went, I'm sorry, I love you too. So it was great because it was like she was your mom saying, where's my kiss? I want my kiss. And she was just cementing her relationship with me. That's all it was. She was just letting me know, yes, I knew you were here. Yes, this was about you and me. And it will always be about you and me. So that was a really special thing. So then I went to Sarajevo, And the next day, I had a big anxiety attack. I got really nervous because my laptop had crashed while I was in Medjugorje, and now I really needed it. And the life at that point, we weren't as phone-centric then. It was more laptops at that point. I needed my laptop to do my work, and without your laptop, you can't get anything, you know. And so I was really concerned. I had already visited a lot of repair shops around the Medjugorje area, and I couldn't find anyone to help. And now I'm in Sarajevo, and I still can't find anyone to help. And I was just starting to really worry. And I remember walking down a street towards the red church in Sarajevo and just going, what am I going to do? And I was really frightened. And I heard her voice again. And I've never heard it again the way I did then. It was really these 2 days. And she said, my daughter? I can't, somebody I've been talking to here, I forgot, was it you saying that her voice is always very firm?
Gentle but firm.
Yeah, so she was very firm. She goes, my daughter, don't worry, I'm taking care of you. I was like, stop it now. And I went, okay. And sure enough, the next day, I tried another Macintosh shop, and lo and behold, I made a friend, and this man fixed everything for 60 euros, and it was done. And he became a great friend for several years and was a wonderful window into Bosnian and Sarajevo culture, and just a wonderful person, and we're still in touch. And so Mary opened up Sarajevo to me, and she let me know, even if you leave Medjugorje, I'm with you. This country is mine. This whole place is mine, and I'm always with you. And so it was just very sweet. And I had a very interesting conversation many years later on that same street. I was walking with a very dear friend of mine who lives in Sarajevo. And he's not in any way Catholic. He's very flat, nothing. You can ask him to, like, if you never prayed, pray now. And he's like, well, I think good thoughts. He's that kind of guy. And he's a Bosnian. And I was very, very concerned about a situation. Don't remember what it was. It was just very, And all of a sudden, and I said, oh yeah, this is the street I was on when I heard Mary's voice all those years ago, and da 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 da. And then the guy turns to me and he goes, well, that thing she said to you back then, I'm taking care of you. He's like, it didn't have an end date on it, did it? So it would follow that she's still taking care of you. So why are you worried? This from the complete atheist guy. He doesn't go into church for anything. So it was very sweet.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's true what he said.
She must still be here. She must still be here. She's still helping.
She is. For what you are doing.
Yeah.
So you came like several times back to Medjugorje?
So that was 2013, and then I did my research in Sarajevo till late 2014, and I was about 6 months out of the year, each year, in Medjugorje and Sarajevo. So back and forth.
Back and forth all the time.
Yeah, back and forth. I had the apartment in Sarajevo, and then I'd come here when I wanted to be more Catholic and leave the secular world, and so it's just back and forth.
To breathe in, no? To recharge the batteries.
Take care and be with everybody.